Allow that. Deuces.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
For all the uses.
Peace, love, and life, fam. Welcome to Brother with Amon Rashidi. I am Pearly Gates, and to my left is none other than Papa Ra, aka. See, look at
Amon Rashidi.
Hey, I'm Amon Rashidi, aka Papa Ra. Hey, let's jump right into it. Today we're going to be talking about controlling the black agenda and the neutralization of black radicals and militant organizations. Okay, so how do we come up with controlling the black agenda? I was looking at something online. Okay, give us 1 second. I was looking at something online, and it said that the Ford Foundation had given $100 million to Black Lives Matter. Now, obviously, Black Lives Matter is an organization that has been on the forefront, or it's been the mainstream organization on the forefront for issues involving police brutality and civil and humane treatment of black citizens, most notably those ones who have been gunned down at the hands of white officers and law enforcement in general. So Black Lives Matter comes to prominence or to national notoriety, I believe it was 3 years ago, right after the Mike Brown killing in Missouri, in Ferguson. So fast forward to now, and Black Lives Matters is being donated $100 million by the Ford Foundation. Brother Rashidi, what are your thoughts on that?
White benefactor, black justice. I don't know if those two go together historically, but just looking in the past, he who pays the bills owns the note. For them to give $100 million with our level of seriousness, obviously nobody gives money without there being some type of agenda attached to it. So controlling the black agenda could just be that. When someone gives you $100 million, they're going to keep up with everything that you do. Historically, the Ford Foundation has been one of the most racist places you could go. When I say foundation, I'm going to say the foundation of Ford. Henry Ford wasn't the person who was really crazy about blacks, and he definitely wasn't crazy about Jews, because he had a book out called The International Jew, if I'm not mistaken, but I had it once before. So with that being the case, there's an agenda there. Nobody gets $100 million. That's not just a write-off. Trust me, that's not just a write-off. So the question is, what will you start to see? Now, here's the burden of truth. When someone's trying to sell you something, you got to ask 4 fundamental questions. Question number 1, who's selling it? Question number 2, what are they selling? Question number 3, who they selling it to? And question number 4, who stands to gain the most from the sale? Now, many times that there are black organizations that white organizations fund because they're in conflict with the organization that the black organization is in conflict with. Let me show you what I'm saying. So that means that you may have a SCLC, and you may have a Nation of Islam, and you may have a FBI, okay? But guess what? The FBI has a bigger issue with a Martin Luther King than they actually do with a Nation of Islam. So they'll have a conflict with the Nation of Islam, but may partner with them to get at, if you would, the SCLC. So there are always games played, because this is like politics. Remember, you got to go and write a proposal, not a proposal, but get a permit to go and do your protest. So that means you get a permit, and you get permission, and you get protected by the very people that you're fighting against. Ain't that kind?
Well, they say, he who pays the piper calls the tune. And let's be real. I think the cat is out of the bag already in the whole Black Lives Matter. Now, I'll say this, and what I read in the article was that essentially the reason why this money was given is because of, they said one subsection was reparations. Then another one was,
What? Wait a minute, stop it. For who? You gonna give reparations to the Black Lives Matter? What about the black folks that the Black Lives Matter represent? What did you just say? And I guess the Black Lives Matter, they're going to make sure that that money is procured and goes appropriately to the black folks for reparations. Y'all all just stop.
Yes, it spoke specifically to ending the war on black people, taking on the criminal justice system, reparations, specific remedies from corporate, government, educational systems, harms related to slavery, and more recently, redlining and housing, education policy, mass incarceration, and food insecurity.
Well, you got more than 100 million.
Now, I will say this, most definitely. Now, I will say this. This is not the first article that I read. The first article that I read went off into talks about equality for queers. And if you look at the Black Lives Matter manifesto, for lack of a better word, it talks about, like in the fourth or fifth point, it talks about, transgender equality, and
I thought that was number one.
Last I checked. So when we see that the Ford Foundation is financing this, they're giving this type of money, and when we're looking at, there have been allegations, and I'll say there have been allegations that George Soros, who is a billionaire, philanthropist, that he is giving $33 million to Black Lives Matter. Now we have organizations that have been around, for decades, and none of them have received this type of financial support from white benefactors. So we have to kind of look behind that curtain and see what's really going on. And the reason why I made the comment about the queers and the transgenders is because not because of any form of homophobia or hatred or bigotry.
Don't they use the word queer? Is that not the?
Well, that is now. I look, when that word was inserted in the article, apparently it is now becoming more politically correct to say queer than gay.
Okay.
So
hey, man, I love you too, baby girl. So
hey, man. So we're transitioning into a new stage or a form of political correctness. The reason why I mentioned that, however, is because that is not part of the black agenda. That ain't part of the black agenda. We're being treated, having human and civil rights. That is the black agenda. We want human and civil rights. We want equal rights in this nation, because this is the nation that is, largely oppressing black people, who have the agenda against black people. So I don't see how the transgender and the queer thing rolls up into our agenda, just like when we were at another point in history, when we were talking about civil rights, then it seemed like that white women benefited more from minority rights and civil rights than black people.
White people, particularly white women, because the white woman end up getting all the residual, all the income that came from affirmative action, because that meant that a white woman was classified as a minority, so she could come in and she could get those minority contracts. If you were Hispanic, if you were anything other than non-white, it made it open to you. So white men got wise and said, well, hey, I just sent my wife in. She's a part of the family, so no harm, no foul. A lot of advances for civil rights became beneficial for the handicapped and for the indigent. I mean, so many things that we did helped out so many other people. You understand what I'm saying? And then y'all talking about, well, that's reverse racism. Wait, hold on, reverse what? I'm not calling Muhammad. If I come in your house and you shoot my wife and shoot my kid and I kill you in the process, does that make me a reverse robber, a reverse rapist, a reverse murderer? Come on.
And this is why we have to be careful when we get in these waters. We need to be able to delineate and separate our cause from the cause of others. Our cause is not the cause of transgender. If you want to be transgender, more power to you. You do that. But that is not the black cause. That is your life. If you want to be homosexual, lesbian, that's your life. But look at the founders, to my knowledge, are lesbian women, and the black face is an openly gay black male, D. Ray McKisson, and he gets up and he talks about it. He receives a handsome salary where he's doing a professorship.
A salary for him.
I believe it's Boston University, somewhere up in Boston. I don't. I'll look it up. But yeah, brother, he's doing well, and for any good that the Black Lives Matter organization may do for black people, we applaud that. However, what we're talking about is delineating between what our cause is, and well,
let's be specific then, since we're talking about causes. One of the most egregious issues that we'll face now is the lack of graduation of African American males and African American women. But African American young ladies are doing pretty well. But here is the issue. We already know, according to Dr. John Wanza Kunjufu, on counting the conspiracy to destroy black boys, by the time they're in the 4th grade, that was back as far as 79 and 80s, we're losing our boys by the 4th and 5th grade. Now you're talking about places like Buffalo, where after 40 years, they only have like a 23% graduation rate. And those numbers scary around that area the whole time. The unemployment rate for black men has been in double digits since post-slavery. It ain't never changed, no matter who the president was. So you got to understand there are major issues. Look at the incarceration rate of young African-American children. Wait, no, look at the murder, not the murder rate, but look at, when you start looking at infant mortality among young African-American children who are having children. There are issues all the way back, man. I'm talking about, we go far back, that are not being addressed. And it appears that politically correctness appears to be the only agenda, and addressing the issue of the masses is forgotten. You got fly-ass terminology. You see everybody on TV, but the pain and suffering in poor black communities continue to go on. Those are the things that I say must be addressed. And we have to have a movement that's specific on how we address issues. Nothing talking about unemployment. Well, you just said in reference to what they gave this money, $100 million, you shouldn't even mention reparations unless you got $100 trillion. We built this country now. Come on, y'all.
That's real talk.
Unless you got about $100 trillion, because you got to get rid of the scourge of drug addiction that you put in, the scourge of AIDS that you put in, the scourge of, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, inferiority complexes. There are all kind of issues that
mental side.
Oh my God.
Right, the mental side. So,
we got a lot of stuff to look at when it comes to us.
Thank you all for joining us. This is Brother to Brother with Aman Rashidi. Shout out to my kinfolk, Andre, and Brother Malachi. Peace, Brother Christian. Peace, sister. Now this is the sister. Brother Hebrew. My girl Anu. And Brother Kevin Johnston, Minister Kevin Johnson. That was my first road dog. That was my first running partner. In fact,
you talking about Miss Williams when you said Anu, right?
Yes.
I saw you. What's up, baby girl? You know I saw you at the Pan African Connection. We supposed to be doing some poetry, y'all. So y'all stay tuned.
Oh, that sister right there is cold blooded.
Yeah, she sent me something. You know what? I have not read that poem, and I apologize. When I get on my way out of here, I'm gonna pick it up, baby. I'm gonna look at it, and we get ready to do some poetry. We ain't gonna call them slams because we don't slam our poets.
That sister right there she is the truth, man. So yeah, you're gonna enjoy that. So anyway, this is Brother to Brother with Aman Rashidi. We're talking about controlling the black agenda and the neutralization of black radicals and militant organizations. If you guys want to join in the conversation, you can call us at 605-562-3140. That's 605-562-3140. Once you get into the, once you make the call, then you press 389-254-pound. That's 389-254-pound. From there, we'll give you some instructions.
I want to address something, you all. First case scenario, when we're looking at militancy, define militant. Mm-hmm. I mean, I want you to take a hard look at militant. Take a hard look at radical. And when you start looking at militancy, you start looking at radicals, that's the same thing that you start looking at Patrick Henry said, give me liberty or give me death. Was he a radical? Was he a militant? Even if he was, I mean, because he fought against the government. I mean, at the Boston Tea Party, when y'all went up there and took them people's tea and you looted their tea, that's what you did. That's called looting. He was upset. You took somebody else's tea. You went on their ship. You shouldn't have went there. Took all their tea, just dumped it out. You know, that probably cost a bunch of people a lot of money. I don't think they said you was looting, right? All right, now, the Constitution says when your rights are violated over long periods of time, it is your duty to destroy or abolish that government. Doesn't that make you a militant? That doesn't make you that makes you an outlaw to an unjust government and laws. So being militant and radical is something we need to do. But the brother you blew up, was that a militant move or was that a radical move? So when you took the guy in New York, you made sure that he was alive because you said he was a terrorist, and we had to find out what was going on, who he was connected with. After somebody killed 5 police officers, I would think you want to know who he down with. So instead of blowing him up, you try to do your best to get him in your car.
Well, that would be the same, and that's the same scenario in Dallas, Texas, that happened with the 5 officers. You know, they supposedly, according to them, rolled. This brother, was a super ninja, and
Michael, forget Mike's last name.
Michael Xavier Johnson. This brother was a super ninja. The sharpshooter, and he shot people, and bullets were coming from over here, and
3 directions is what you said.
Over here, those were the initial. Those were the initial reports. And if you've been in a war theater, or if you have been even
trained in the military,
then you know that you can discern if fire is coming from different directions. So when
especially 3 different directions. You said a triangle.
So when they said that fire was coming from 3 different directions, then how do you get this one man? And when you corner this one man, if it was coming from 3 different directions and he was only one man, why would you not leave him alive to interrogate him? Why,
Especially if you said he had 6 other bombs all over the city, and you hadn't confirmed whether you had found those bombs.
Come on, y'all. Let's be real. So when you're talking about, but that was kind of like a side tangent, but we were talking about militant and radical and what those definitions are. And, to be honest with you, what I believe they're saying is that if you are a black man who speaks your mind, if you are a black man.
That's a key word. He says speak your mind. One more time. Your mind. Maybe that ain't our mind.
If you're a black man who speaks his own mind, then, you are deemed a militant. If you're a black man who speaks his own mind, then that is a radical concept, under the system of white supremacy, because nobody speaks to the mighty white man, like he's on equal footing with him. So
let me add to that too. And if you speak your mind at your job, you be unemployed.
You will be unemployed. So you better believe that. And if you got too much bass in your voice, then you will also be unemployed at the job. If your suit is too nice, you will be unemployed. If your cologne is too loud, you're gonna be unemployed. You know what I mean? All of these things, this is to keep us in a subservient position, to keep us as boys, and them always being the quote unquote man. So for you to challenge their authority, for you to challenge their system, that is too much of a manly activity, and you will be labeled, because they put these labels out here as radicals and militant, so that they can shape propaganda around the concept of radicalism and militancy, so that they can demonize those people.
And they're going to check your Facebook, they're going to check your Instagram, they're going to check your tweets now when you apply for a job. When students go to school now, they're checking everything that you do out on social media. So social media is no longer free. And if NBC, ABC, Fox, and CNN and all the networks are the things that are controlling mainstream media, what are you going to do when Fox buys say Facebook, or buy YouTube, or when one of these other channels buy it? Because let me tell you something, the same corporate executive investors that are sitting on the board of Facebook or YouTube are the same ones sitting on the board of GE that owns Fox and NBC and ABC. These are family members. These are cousins. These are associates who know each other. And that's why we have to, if you have a black agenda, then we know each other in the same manner. We have partnerships and strategic alliances that keep us afloat, if you will. But if we don't have an agenda that makes sure, first of all, that our children are safe and that someone can replace us as we get old, then after a while, we're going to be gone. There are no longer about black people in Tasmania. The original people in Tasmania were black. They were all killed. Oh. So understand that there are people who are missing from the planet, groups of people who were once here before who no longer exist. And guess what? They were killed by the land of the free and the home of the brave people. Them same folks that came out of Britain. You took a bunch of folks out of Britain, and they were lawbreakers and vandals, and you sent a group of them to Australia. Then you took another group of them, you sent the investors over to South America that you're not calling America. And look what happened. The indigenous people that was here that you call Indians that were Arawaks, it was close to, they say, 82 million. Half of them are dead right now. If you walk around the streets now, you'd be remiss to see an Indian man, woman, and child walking together holding hands. At one time, we had cities in this place here for the indigenous Indians. There was a city in the United States that was larger than what we Vatican City. Now, that's powerful, because the Vatican City is actually a country to itself. So with that being the case, y'all, violated treaties, violated codes of conduct, like when we came together with the civil rights, we started out for human rights, then we went down to civil rights, and then we went down to integration. Wow, man, that's plea bargaining. That's some dangerous stuff, and now it's become a simulation. And even with a black man at the helm, the ship is still about to crash. But anyway.
You know what? Hey, guys, we're going to take a real quick break, and we will be back to brother with Amon Rashid.
Hebrew, Ain't May, all y'all, love you very much. Minister Calvin Johnson. Is that my man? Rick back.
Nah, that's my
okay.
Black Men. That's the one I said is my first
okay.
road dog.
Yeah, we just want to take the time and thank all y'all that's watching and listening right now. We appreciate that. As you know, we kind of go through our little vibration. Music is something that always gives me a break. I was just telling the people at the church the other day, man, if you come in and you got a weak choir, you don't get many African Americans at the church. If you do, we ain't gonna be that long. Some of us who might not even believe everything in the word, we get some comfort from music, because music has a power of its own. It just soothes the savage beast. It don't even have to be no words, and a vibration will come, and I close my eyes without asking, without even attempting, I'm praying. That's how powerful music is. Who's that, Brady Muhammad? There's no truth. Brady. Oh, Brady. I can't see y'all know. Excuse me, I ain't got no bifocals on here. And 52 has got a little something on me right now. But it's a big up to everybody, y'all. Today is a hard work day for us. Once we get off this show, we still got to hit the streets. We got Community Foundation of Texas. Then we'll meet with Yango Products also. We're meeting with the African Music Magazine Group. And on Friday, we'll be there at the City Hall Flag Room. And then on November the 14th, we'll sit down with a group of people. We're talking about funding and heading back to Nigeria and heading on to Africa. We out here doing the work, y'all. And anybody say anything otherwise, you're lying and you don't know what you're doing. And with that being the case, you can't save everybody at one time. And then when you go out to save somebody, you're not going out there to be somebody that's going to save them. When I go to talk to somebody, if you don't gravitate to what I give you, I'm moving on. Y'all understand what I'm saying? That's community organizing 101. It's not babysitting 101. There's a lot of false claimers out there that are claiming that you out here organizing. No, you out here looking for a job so you can get paid to save people. That's not the goal. You put together an infrastructure so you can have an organization that does that. But with that being the case, all I'm saying to all y'all, it ain't nothing but love. Anybody that we can help along the way, we will. Information is knowledge, is power, but if it ain't applied, it's just masturbation and no babies.
That's real talk, real talk. So I want to talk about an event. Kevin, if you can put your information about your event on the screen, and I'll read it when it comes up. I don't want to screw it up. Okay. But Kevin is a farmer. I'm calling him a farmer, a rancher. He's something, man. He took me. He didn't know. This is the brother who took me when we were juniors in high school, and he took me out to the country.
That's where I was born, by the way.
It was during Thanksgiving, and we were gonna go deer hunting. Now this is my partner.
Okay.
You know, I'm a city boy. So we go out
I saw
in
you
the country.
said deer hunting. I know you're city. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
Because we get out of school in Arkansas, where I'm from, for deer season, we take time out of school. So it's totally different from the city. But I'm going to hear this. Go ahead.
Look here, man. So he takes me out here, and everything was good until it was time to actually get the rifles and go out here and get in this deer stand. So and it's cold. It's November. And I'm talking. I'm trying to, and he's like, hey, man, you're going to scare the deer away, man. And I'm like, man, I don't see no deer out here. Man, and then he started getting mad at me.
You ain't supposed to see the deer.
I'm like, man, what you... hey, bro, it's cold. So Kevin went on to, after that, Kevin went on to go to Prairie View A&M. He has a degree in agriculture. And the brother is now, his daughter, Kavana, every time I see her on Facebook, she's entering
That's him?
Yeah, that's him. She's entering into some type of contest with her cows and her goats, and she had a rabbit that she had skinned a few weeks ago. So this man is like a modern day Crocodile Dundee, and he's having an event here on the 13th of October, I believe it is. And he'll get me correct on those dates, but it's farming. It's farming, and it's for small farms and showing people. And he put some produce online, and I mean, you know how that homegrown produce. Well, some of it looks kind of suspect, but he has some stuff that looks better than the stuff in the store.
Well, actually, when you start looking at tomatoes, they aren't actually red, and when you start looking at carrots, they aren't actually orange. Spinach is not organic, if you would. It's a mixture of two, I think, cabbage and lettuce or whatever have you. But my point is that, or collards. But my point is this: I was raised on the farm. We had it all. We had cows, horses, you name it. We had a couple of acres of land where we raised corn, we raised peas, we raised watermelon, we raised squash. And where I came from, that was normal. We had a mulberry tree, had a peach tree, had a pear tree, all an apple tree, all on our land. That was commonplace. So I understood what it was like to go pick an apple. If we were tired and we didn't run in the house for a snack, grab an orange, grab a pear. But life has changed, and if you ask kids where their produce come from, they tell you from the grocery store. And a lot of times that is really as far as their intellect goes when it's regarding agriculture. We're doing what we call vertical farming, or A1 farming, where you use towers and volcanic ash, and one tower with light and stream water that comes through, and you can put up to 1,000 pounds of food a month feeding people 10 to 20 towers. So this is where you got food deserts. And guess what? You took the people who were born in the most, oh my God, I won't say agriculturally rich. You could say that. You took the original farmers of the world, and now all of a sudden now we're eating processed food. Ain't that strange?
Yeah, man. We have done a complete 180. And
big ups to Kevin. That's his name, Kevin Johnson?
Yeah, Kevin, yeah.
Yeah, man, come on, holler at me, man. We want to do a co-op over at the spot, 1705, if you want to do that, brother. We're looking to do that and get with Oshun Lade. She's doing a co-op also. And we've been partnering with Pan-African Connection, so this ain't new to us. So come on through. You know, Farmers Market is closed down except for that little bitty spot. So that means we're wide open in South Dallas.
You know what? Speaking of Farmers Market, man, and we going to jump back on there, but speaking of Farmers Market,
this is about the Black agenda, too, because we talk about food and agriculture.
Yes, indeed.
You ain't finna miss us
Yes,
now.
Indeed. Man, I'm in the store in so-called Whole Foods, and I'm looking for a watermelon with no seed, with seeds.
Okay.
Why they don't sell watermelons with seeds anymore?
Genetically
Why do they not
modified.
sell grapes with seeds anymore? I don't want to, you know, when before I really, you know, got hip, I was like, okay, grapes, no seeds, that's a convenience to me. But now that I'm aware, I'm like, nah, y'all stepping on these grapes. And this is not God's creation. You know, this is man's creation. This has been modified.
Imagine an example of, imagine you've been born and your son be born, he ain't got no seed.
Right. So it doesn't
can't
happen.
reproduce itself. That means that fruit can't reproduce itself, which means it's really not fruit.
It's really not fruit. So let's not fall for the okie doke. And what we have to look at is look at this machine. Look at this machine. Look at the machine that is pushing this agenda. You know what I mean? You got these watermelon, and I go from Whole Foods to Whole Foods to Whole Foods. So I'm going to have to get my watermelon with seeds from somebody who grew it and is now selling watermelons on the side of the road. You know what I mean? Because this network has been infiltrated with all of these types of food, the seedless grapes. You know, I don't trust it. So when
I'll give you a good point. In Utah, there was a Anglo lady and her husband, family. She was the lead farmer there, if you would, and it's a special. If you go online, you can see it. She was fighting against genetically modified food and wanted to grow her own seeds. You know, grow her own food with her own seeds, and she had acres of land. Brother, I want to tell you, she fought against the government. They came out with a SWAT team. I didn't even know SWAT team came to get farmers. Did you hear what I said? Because they told her she couldn't plant that. Now, if you got a SWAT team that's designed to go out and challenge people agriculturally based off the seeds they plant, I mean, that's a more sinister and a deeper something that's going on behind the scenes is all I'm saying.
That's serious, big brother, man. That is serious.
And then you're eating, and not only that, you're eating cloned cows now. Now they're letting you know that the cows are cloned or that the chickens were cloned. I'm like, wow.
Say,
you gotta really look at this, y'all.
We better get away. we better get away and we better get outside of this thing.
All these zombie movies, you be walking around, biting on your friend.
And Hillary and Trump ain't got nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? We just need to get away from this.
Well, that's a clone right there. He a Hitler clone, y'all. Come on. He loves to talk about he from Germany. And he can't spell, he can't speak. And guess what? Did y'all just find out really that he don't own none of those banks? The only thing he's selling is his name. Did you know that? That they give him the management contracts, you all, to manage the hotels because he bankrupted himself back in the 90s. And when he bankrupted in the 90s, you know how he got rich again, if you would? Through a television show called Apprentice. So all this dude is doing is selling his name to companies. So when you see Trump and Japan, Trump and China, guess what? That's them who owns it. They use his name and pay him for it and allow his company to manage the hotel. So when he said, we're opening a hotel, he didn't tell you he owned it. He said, we're opening a hotel in Milan. We're opening a hotel in Africa. Be mindful of that, you all.
That's your number one stunner. Baby ain't got nothing. That is your number one stunner right there, Donald Trump.
I agree.
And I hope all of his businesses fail, and they are failing right now because of this brand of politics he has chosen to engage in. Mm-hmm. His appeal. I don't like using these words, but I don't like mincing words either. So, but for lack of a better word, the redneck, quote unquote, trailer trash, uneducated white boy, that is who is supporting Donald Trump right now. But Donald Trump's his brands cater to people who got money. And those people who are uneducated, who can't read, can't speak, can't spell, can't write, those people are not the ones who are visiting and frequenting those hotels. Those are not the people who are buying these $1,000 suits and $200 ties. So his brand, those are not the people who are on his golf courses. So the golf courses that bear his name. So his brand is suffering tremendously because of the brand of politics that he chooses to engage in. So, when we talk about controlling the black agenda, we have to look at what is this move by the Ford Foundation about? This is a countermeasure.
Watch the Ford Foundation and the Koch brothers.
These are countermeasures. In other words, if I'm going to give you $100 million, and that sounds like a lot of money.
If I'm going to give you, now the question is, did they give you the 100, or was 100 invested so that certain things could happen on behalf of all parties?
Exactly. Certain things will happen. If we want to, because now with that $100 million, then your propaganda machine will have fuel. So whatever it is, whatever we need. In other words, if we want to go on a theme, and it's like back the blue. If we want to back the blue, if we want to, heal the relationship between the community and the police, yet and still everything in the campaign, uplifts the police, then they can sponsor that with those dollars. Right. So their agenda, whatever their agenda is, it is to dilute the collective black agenda. It is to dilute, once again, every 4 years that rolls around when we got this political cycle and we elect another president. Well, one thing about black people is we peep game quickly. We were at the protest it was the Bear organization coming to exercise their First Amendment rights in South Dallas, and they were saying that the Nation of Islam was doing a lot of, they were advocating the killing of white police officers and white citizens. Now this is in Dallas, Texas, once again. Dallas, Texas, Martin Luther King Boulevard on the Strip. This organization is on the line. They talking big noise. Now I'm gonna give this man credit because he said it. Because I was like, hey man, we need to be out there, cause you know what I mean? Hey man, they get ready to come with some force, man. We need to be out there. So I'm basically like, hey, hey, whatever. I'm down for whatever. And he said, oh, they ain't gonna do nothing. Man, we need to be out there. Nah, they ain't gonna do nothing. So we get out there and there were like 10 of them that showed up. But what happened though is we in the community, the hood, got wind of this, and they went ballistic.
We went steroids.
I'm talking about you saw some gorillas out there, and it was like, hey, I wish y'all would. And as Amon and myself were working our way through the crowd and conducting interviews, what I was noticing is that we peeped the game. Everybody felt like, these were agents sent in by the federal government. These are people who have an agenda, and it's not against the Nation of Islam. They have an ulterior motive for being here, and whatever it is, whatever they want in South Dallas, they can't have it. So when I say that our people peep ulterior motives and agenda, we peep game, collectively, now we're sitting back peeping this game as to why $100 million will be given to this organization. And I say that it is to dilute any semblance of black power. Yeah. That 4-year cycle that I'm talking about, every 4 years every 4 years, basically after the first year, after the first 6 months of a newly sitting president, we start saying, okay, he ain't gonna do nothing. We're gonna give him a year. And then after that first year, then we start saying, hey man, we got to depend on each other. It's gonna be about us. And as soon as we start constructing things and building things of this is how we're gonna get ourselves out of this predicament, then we're right at about that 2.5, 3 year mark. And what happens then? They start campaigning again.
But what happens with us is you don't have an agenda, so no one can address the issues that you face. If in Dallas you got a major issue and those are kids who are being arrested due to gang violence, Dallas has the highest incarceration rate of innocent people in the world. Dallas does.
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. And so in this city, we should be addressing that. Wrongfully killed, murdered people on the streets should be a part of our agenda, making sure those people go to jail, making sure that they're arrested, making sure that it becomes a hate crime, making sure cops who shoot somebody wrongfully can never use a weapon again. There's certain things that we should do. And genetically modified food. What if black people just themselves said, we're not going to shop the major stores anymore until you stop selling us seedless grapes, seedless this. If we stood up collectively together, you understand the power we can have? And then utilize this vertical farming and agriculture that we talked about, say, if you don't do it right, we're going to create our own farms, alternatives.
Okay, now I see Kevin just put some information up here about the event. That's on the 13th.
Something too a little bit earlier I was going to mention. He made a good point. You can hit that back again, brother.
And it's going to be sponsored by the Texas Small Farmers and Ranchers. I'll have more information.
I'll be there. I'm going to be a part of that. We have an agricultural track that we're working on right now. It's not without question. It's our number one vocation. Cultural license technology is number 2. So vertical farming or farming as you know it, we are on board. And I really admire and respect what you're doing. And the major schools that we used to have, even all the ones that my dad went to, UAPB was always agricultural schools. If you go back, mostly all the schools, and if you go back to Booker T. Washington, he told us that agriculture was our key. And then if you go back and you start looking at Carver, George Washington Carver, really who ushered in the plastics industry, but you talked to him about peanuts. Well, go back and show that he put together the $1 trillion industry you now call the plastic industry.
That's more propaganda to mask, the importance of his accomplishments. Shout out to my kinfolk, my lovely cousin, Stephanie Derrick, 72 Iconic. Brother, I know I got your number. And next week, see, I had to put this on because this man came in cleaner than the clap doctor. And I was like, oh man, I was in here chilling. Look, but 7-2, bro, I need to get some shirts from you. And that's what I'm planning on rocking next week.
What do you got?
Oh man, he got some dope shirts, man, some dope t-shirts that he makes. And that will bring us to our Black to Business moment, sponsored by Averon Graphics and Printing. My man Fred Davis. I got a shirt that he printed, but I'm not getting ready to go out. Anyway, the Black to Business Minute is always about, us talking about, what we did in the black community, who we patronized. I don't care if we went and we bought a t-shirt, a sucker, lemonade or whatever, that a young black child was selling. Speaking of that, I want to shout out a couple of people. What I was getting at is Aberon Graphics, that is the black business imprinting. That's the black business that I personally patronized this week. You know, we must patronize each other. We must circulate the dollars. This is corporative economics. This is the only way that we're ever going to be able to build an economic base. We must support and promote each other. So that is our Black to Business Minute. But I want to shout out to this young soldier, AJ, Christiane Miller. She is the lady. I don't know if you've seen the young 9-year-old boy. I almost feel like I'm disrespecting him by calling him a boy.
What did he do?
Man, this boy gave a presentation. Shout out to Dr. Omai. Listen, man, because it was at her event. It was at Dr. Omai's event last week, the community economic opportunity at Skyline Ranch, you know, owned by Brother Robert Petrie. Shout out to him as well.
Robert Penny, what's happening, y'all?
It was a beautiful event. You guys, I know that some of you did not know that it was aware, but we're not aware that it was happening. But this will be a monthly thing, and you know I support that sister because one thing when I met that
once
sister,
a month at Petrie Ranch, at Skyline Ranch.
I believe it's going to be at the Magnolia next month, but we're going to stay tuned for the details. But
who covers that? What network covers that?
Well,
I guess we are nation.
We
cover the things that
it.
matters.
we'll be covering it. Yeah, it does work. It does work. One thing about this sister, Dr. Omai, when I met her and she had an all-male panel. This was at the one that we went to at
Black
the
Friday.
Friday. Yes, and she was insistent that it be black men who would be showcased, because she was like, black women, we got power, we got juice, and you know, not to paraphrase what she was saying, we're doing well. I want to put black men out there in front to speak to other black men, to inspire and educate other black men. So, you know, big ups to that sister.
Thank
you.
That's what I want
for
to
that.
say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because her mind, her heart is in the right place. She came right back and did it again. But this young man, AJ, Game Time Smoothies, and he's getting his company off the ground. But this young man stood before a panel of multimillionaires, and he gave the best pitch, a 60-second pitch. He was done at 60 seconds, but we were so enamored by his presence and impressed with him.
He's 9.
He's 9. It's on my Facebook page. Y'all go and check it out.
Check him out.
This young boy, and his mom is Christiane. And she also has a magazine. I can't think of the name right now, Christiane. If you're still on here, tell us the name of your magazine. We're going to be covering some events. I'm reaching out to black media right now. We have an event that's coming up, and hopefully we can get some coverage. The African
Music Magazine Awards is going to be this Saturday, as a matter of fact. This Friday, however, we're going to have a social justice platform dealing with social justice, not in music, but just in life in general. And thank them for that, being conscientious to say it goes beyond music. You're killing artists as well. So that's going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to be at the Black Academy of Arts and Letters on Saturday. So as many people that can, come out and support your African brothers and sisters.
And Kevin just put that information up there. It's the Small Garden Workshop.
Okay.
It is free. It's October 13th at 7 p.m. And it's at the...
Sam Rafford, what's up, bro? And Chris, I checked the email, Hebrew.
Peace, Brother Rafford. And it will be at the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post by near Golden Gate Funeral Home on Stemmons. You guys can Google that information and get there.
Big ups to the students who are being conscientiously aware. They're keeping the agenda alive, at least the sanctity of what happens to us, which is mainly happening to them because it's young adults who are being killed. There's a reason why younger adults are being killed. Even if you go scripturally to your Bible, when Herod was looking for Jesus, what did they tell him to do? Go kill the boy, baby.
Boy.
And when you go back, when they was looking for Moses, what did they do? Tell the Pharaoh. Pharaoh told them what? To sign a decree, kill the boy, baby. Anytime a lion comes in and takes over a den, he kills the cubs. So anytime you want to overtake a people, you're going to kill the most defined person there. That's the fathers, that's the leaders of the family. And that's a deeper identity that you must understand. And all men know that as a core. And that's why when we see other people and they tell us, well, you need to stop talking about the white man.
Hey, mama.
I don't use that much anyway. Because look, we are men ourselves. And I'm not going to justify another person's manhood to say that he has more power than I. Look, this is a race.
That's militant, brother.
Yeah, hey, that's right. This is a race
that's radical, brother.
Swift.
That's radical.
This is a long-term race, y'all. Y'all feel what I'm saying? So you don't go by. And look, America is just a recent empire. Most empires took thousands of years to create. It came up in 400 or 500 years. Why? Because we built it. I had to check my brother the other day talking about because of the Bible, the UK, and that America became great because of the Bible. I said, not the Bible, because of black people.
Yes.
Building your country structure. Because if you were being biblical, you wouldn't have been raping, you wouldn't have been beating, you wouldn't have been maiming, you wouldn't have been exercising terrorism, you wouldn't have been raping little girls. Come on.
And little boys. And grown men.
Man, this happened, you all. Read the narratives of the slave and you'll see it. But it's not a complaint, it is a reality. We need an agenda. That agenda should address our children. It should address all the violent issues that we affect. It should affect all the spreads and epidemics of not only just violence, because the violence in the black community was created by drug wars created by the government. Stop it, y'all. You know that.
Speaking of building empires, when I heard about how Japan had rebuilt after Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
We were the first person to drop a bomb on human beings. Not Russia, not anywhere. We United States. The one trying to keep everybody else from having nuclear weapons. Right. And that's why.
That's right. And you'd be a fool. but and I believe it was in the Black Friday film. Shout out to Rick Mathis, that brother. Great,
that was a good piece.
Great documentary. But we built after slavery. Mm-hmm. From the mud.
Yep.
We had Black Wall Street and several other communities that were thriving.
And so, you all blew that up, just in case people don't know history. It was blown up.
Yes.
Because some kid on the elevator, supposedly it shook, and as it was coming off, the white girl fell in his arms, and they opened up and said it was some type of affair, he was raping, and they went and told somebody. And because of hearsay, these people who are non-radical and militant killed and bombed the most advanced group of people economically during that time period in America.
Where would we be now?
Oh, wow.
See, that's what they saw. It's just like when they see the potential in that boy child, in that girl child, and they focus on killing that offspring. Black Wall Street, that was our baby boy. That was our baby boy. That was our baby girl. And they saw, man, we lied and said that we were going to give them 40 acres and a mule for their servitude. Mm-hmm. We gave them nothing. And look what they have done 70 years post-slavery. Let me see. It was from 1863, 1865, 75, 85, 95, 05, 15, 25. That's 60 years. In 60 years, we built an empire. So all of you Negroes who are out there who are afraid to death to walk off of the plantation with nothing and start from scratch, we can do it. In fact, I'm going to tell you something. They say that the average black family, it has a net worth of $6,000. That means that if your house gets hit by the hurricane, the tornado, the flood, and you're destroyed, if your net worth is $6,000, you can really rebuild that in about 6 months. You know what I mean? You could really rebuild that with between 6 and 18 months. You can have everything that you had, that you lost, and then some, except those things of sentimental value. So I don't get into that whole, oh man, they lost their whole house. Hopefully they had insurance. Oh man, they lost this, that. Well, God is telling us something, man.
What PG said about maybe they lost their house. Where I grew up, there was a time if your house burnt down, and you didn't have no insurance or nothing to cover your house, all the carpenters and everybody in the community had a 30 to 90 day plan. And every evening or every other evening when you had free time, guess what we would do? People would come out and rebuild your home. And if someone needed food during that time, the church and the groups made sure you were taken care of. And if ever there was a time we should do that, we should be doing that now.
That's right.
No one is stopping us from doing that. We need to know that we got permission to do things without having. And then what we do is we watch what other people do. And if we're not following the trend, we think we are the trendsetters. Stop it. The world is born from us.
So why y'all think they rapping over in Israel? And we are the trendsetters.
Yeah.
You know why you think these people? These people. Yeah, I ain't gonna say that. But anyway, yeah. So it's been a great show. We're about to wrap up. And
y'all throw prayers up and go into one of these foundations. You know, we ain't depending upon them exclusively, but a little pocket change coming from that won't hurt.
Black men, let's get to schools and be positive. Let's get into schools, yes indeed, and be positive role models and mentors. The proper education of our youth is the key to our future. Man,
hit me up, brother. 1705. We're gonna have classrooms available. So, social media will be there, training kids on cultural arts and technology. We got projects that we'll be doing. We're also doing co-ops, and Griot Nation headquarters will be there. So we get in a centralized location. What you want to do with the co-op, brother? You hit me up. And I want to get one centralized location. I don't just want one dude doing a school over here. Let them see us do this collectively. There's power in the collective unity of what we do. And I want y'all to come by. We need to have one central location where we broadcast it. All roads got to lead to one place to have a headquarters. That should be an agenda item.
And I think exactly, because I think that that is part of the problem. I posed a question on Facebook last week to all of the Hillary Clinton supporters. I mean, obviously, we are going to vote for her by default, whether we like her or not. We know damn well we can't have Donald Trump in the White House. You know what I mean? That is not in the best interest of black people. We cannot, under any circumstances, have this maniac, this fool in the White House.
I don't want him in America, but he is here though.
Right. So since we have to pledge our vote to Hillary by default, she's going to get our vote. We're less than 40 days, I believe, from election. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think it's exactly 30 days.
Or something.
We're a month away from the election. We once again, what are we going to do? What demands have we placed before Hillary Clinton to get our vote?
Industrial complex.
What demands has the Congressional Black Caucus placed before Hillary Clinton in order to get the black vote? These are the politicians. These are the people who should have liaisons who should be liaising with the community and finding out what it is that the community requires before we deliver our vote. But we done got caught with our pants down. Once again, we can't make no demands on Hillary right now because she knows she's getting the vote, period, point blank. She's going to get the black vote. So once again, it's going to be another 4 years. We're going to be celebrating the fact that we got an old ass white lady in the White House.
Listen, she ain't getting his vote.
And she ain't getting mine either. So I'm saying collectively.
Trump ain't either. So don't we talk about
right? I'm saying collectively. It's
and then we catch hell.
The bad apple or the rotten egg. One of the two. But but there are people who believe in the process, and they are not going to allow Trump to get in. Even Ace was talking about, hey man, if I were voting, I would have to vote. I find myself secretly rooting for Hillary. Now, brother James said, this is how weak a candidate Hillary is. She'll only get in, if a buffoon is against her.
Wow.
If a buffoon runs
you know what? At first, when I first saw Donald Trump get in the race, I thought this was done so that she could win. That, because look, don't get it twisted.
Out there.
All these politicians know each other, and he supported the Clintons the whole while they've been in office. And if he hated them so much, why did he support all of them every year? They came to his wedding. Come on, y'all. All these people are in bed.
They are in bed together, and we are silly.
Man, stop it.
We are silly on the outside, looking like these people are gonna do anything to affect
here's the other thing.
the livelihood that of black people. Not nothing in our favor.
Well, here's the other thing we talked about and check out this coming Sunday show. Great show that we recorded last night. We the willing. I'm watching myself when I say we. Man, we ought to do so and so. Man, we ought to. And sometimes when you hear yourself say it, as many times you go back and watch it, you seem like you're accusing everybody, including the ones you know who are doing it. The we represents the willing. So if it's just two of you all, then that's the we. Why don't we? Who is the we? Always associate who you with when it's the we. What are you doing when you classify the we? And know that there are always black people fighting for the interests of black people. That's why you can do what we're doing now. Because we've never stopped fighting. Don't you think because what we say is that there aren't black people organizing and fighting. They just don't have platforms by which you can see them. You don't see God, but you believe in God. And you got to believe that we believe enough in each other that we're not going to let our children die. We're not going to let our women die. And if they do, it won't be for a cause, and we will continue to fight. We have not given up by no stretch of the imagination. Please do not get that confused. We only fight because we know we're soldiers. And we don't fight unless we intend to win. And if we're not going to win in our lifetime, then I'm happy to see it happen in the lifetime of my children. I just want you to know that. Okay, well, brother, no more needs to be said. This has been Brother to Brother with Aman Rashidi. Thank everybody for joining. We missed a few people. Yeah.
We missed quite a few people. We got caught up in the conversation, but it's been a great show. We will see you back here same time next week, God willing. Peace, love, and light.